This video and every video on this channel is made possible by your support on patreon.com/616entertainment. I couldn't do this without you, and your contributions keep this channel alive. You can also grab an official shirt over on prowrestlingtees.com/616entertainment. What's up, Dan-Dans? My name is Ian. Today we're going to count down my top 25 favorite video games of all time. Now, if you're a veteran of this channel, if you hang out here a lot, you know I would normally write a video like this. I would script it, I would record my voiceovers, and you would just see trailer clips and gameplay throughout this entire video. We're going to switch it up. This is going to be a little more personal. I'll stay on screen with you guys for the most part, and I'm going to totally without being tied down to a script, I'm just going to talk to you. Now, I'm making this video here today because this topic was the winning topic on the 95,000 subscriber milestone poll. Every time this channel goes up by another 5,000 subscribers, I put up a poll. You guys decide which bonus video you want to see. This was the winning topic. And now we are even closer to 100,000 subscribers. I've been working for years to hit that, and we're getting really close, so thank you for your support. I genuinely appreciate it. I should also note that today's video is brought to you in conjunction with Melon Magnet, who are a brand new upstart who should hopefully help me inject some sponsorship revenue into the channel. I haven't heard from them in a little while, but the call could come through any day now, and that's very exciting. Now, if you haven't noticed by now, I'm on a green screen. You can probably see through my shirt. So I could be here, I could be there, I could be anywhere I want. So the Patron can come with me as well. He can be here. Now, without further ado, let's get down to business. The first game on the list, number 25, UFC 3. Now, some of you may have clicked off the video already. UFC 3 is one of your favorite video games of all time? Yeah. I'm a huge MMA fan. I know I do a lot of wrestling stuff on this channel. I do a lot of Mortal Kombat stuff. MMA is one of my biggest interests in my life. I've been an MMA fan since 2004. UFC 3, in my opinion, is just the best MMA game all around. It's the game that I play whenever I've got some free time, or whenever it's like, what do I want to play today? I will turn on UFC 3, I will pick Anderson Silva, and I'm just gonna have a blast. It's never not fun. Number 24 on my favorite games of all time list is I Am Setsuna. Now, this is a game that not a lot of people played. It did not sell exceptionally well, but it is a fantastic experience. This game is painfully sad. It's the story of it's a town that gets invaded by monsters. It gets overrun by monsters. Now, how do these people get the monsters to go away? You have to offer a sacrifice to the gods. And there is always somebody who is chosen as a sacrifice. In this case, it's a girl named Setsuna. We start the game as an assassin. We've come to kill Setsuna. And when we meet up with her, she's like, hey, I'm marked for death. I am destined to die. So you can kill me now, or you can help me see this through. You can help me complete this journey that's going to save all these other people, and at the end of the day, you're still getting the job done, because you were here to kill me, I'm going to die. As you might expect, along the way, you really build a relationship with this girl. And not just her, but other people that you pick up, and they join your party, and you learn so much about all these people, and you go on missions to help them, and there are storylines and quests that just, they bring everybody together so tightly that it's not a spoiler because it's the plot of the game. When you get to the end of the story and it's time for Setsuna to go, it's time for Setsuna to, live out her destiny as a sacrifice, you do not want to see it happen. And I'm not going to tell you what happens from there, but holy shit, I Am Setsuna is so good. I highly recommend it. I Am Setsuna. Number 23 is... Yo.
Ready for your first sponsor?
Yeah.
It's the one we talked about before, the one you like.
Sick.
Yeah, so just use the part that we picked out, it would be perfect.
Really?
Really, darling. I'll stay in touch.
Alright.
Have fun.
That was Melon Magnet. Number 23 is brought to you by This 6 Seconds of Smooth by Carlos Santana featuring Rob Thomas. Keeping it moving, number 23, The Outer Worlds. I Love this game. We're putting our team together. We're going out on quests. The gunplay is fantastic. The characters are great. I am deeply in love with Parvati. But Parvati's not interested in me. There's somebody else she's interested in. And if you're a good wingman, the way that I am, you will help Parvati get together with the person that she's interested in, because that's what a captain really does. And I've played through all the way through the Outer Worlds multiple times, and I will do it again. It is a major bummer. As a PlayStation guy myself, The Outer Worlds 2 will not be on PlayStation because of the Microsoft Bethesda acquisition. Major bummer. Elder Scrolls 6 is like fucking 10 years away. All this other shit, I don't care. Outer Worlds 2, you're breaking my heart. Number 22, Dragon's Crown. It's the only PlayStation Vita game here on this list, and this is my favorite PlayStation Vita game. Vanillaware are so extremely unique with their graphical style, with their gameplay style, whether it's Dragon's Crown, Odin's Sphere, or anything else that they've put together. And this is another game with multiple classes and all these different kinds of characters, an art style that is unmistakable. I just love this game to pieces. And there's Dragon's Crown Pro, which is on PlayStation 4. You can also get this game on PlayStation 3. I'm a Vita guy through and through. If I'm playing Dragon's Crown, it's going to be on the Vita. And just talking about it right now, when this is done, I'm going to play Dragon's Crown tonight, for sure. There's no doubt about it. Number 21, and you guys have probably been wondering where one of these games is going to fall on the list. WWE SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain. I did a video, I think last year, counting down my top 10 favorite wrestling games of all time, and SmackDown Here Comes the Pain was number 1. It's still number 1. There are a ton of great wrestling games out there. SmackDown Here Comes the Pain has never been topped for me. Fantastic roster. WWE in 2003 was just on another level. This was such a good time. Is it a heartbreaker that Jeff Hardy was pulled out of the game? Patch, can you please not hit the camera? Is it a heartbreaker that Jeff Hardy was pulled out of the game? Yes, it is. But I cannot let that get in the way of the fact that this is my favorite wrestling game. We're making pretty good time here. We're trucking through this list, right? I'm not being too verbose. I'm not taking too long. Top 20 time. Number 20, Subnautica. I am deeply terrified of the ocean. I had a bad experience on a fishing charter in 2002. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It was pitch black outside. The waves were out of control. But the guy running the charter boat, that's how he makes his living. So when a bunch of people showed up and were like, we want to go fishing. Instead of being responsible and saying like, conditions are bad, let's be safe. Why don't you come back tomorrow afternoon? He said, all right. I got a full boat. Fuck it. Let's go out. So this fucking boat was tipping back and forth. I thought I was going to die that night. There's not a lot of times in my life that I genuinely thought I was going to die. As Patches Lugosi kicks my microphone again. I thought I was going to die that night. And I think that's why I don't like the ocean. So Subnautica, a game where our spaceship crash lands on a water planet somewhere out in space. This planet is 99% water and the oceans are deep. Brother, we're talking deep water. We're going down into the abyss. There are fissures in the core of this planet, and we go thousands of meters underwater, and there's shit in this water that will give you nightmares. It gives me nightmares, and I love it. Number 19, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. I fucking love this game. I'm gonna try not to use this word too often, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is immortal. This is the game that set the tone. This is the game that showed us what skateboarding games / extreme sports games at large. This is the game that showed us what they could be. Number 18, God of War. Again, the very original. You're going to find that this is a thing for me. A lot of times, the first game in a franchise is my favorite. Even if it's not the best one, you could easily argue that God of War 3, God of War 2018, maybe God of War Ragnarok is the best God of War game, but my favorite God of War game is the original. Now, I just put together the history of God of War, which was like 3.5 hours long. I covered the entire franchise. So I do not feel the need to wax poetically about God of War right now. Everything I had to say, I said it there. Check it out. Enjoy. Number 17. Yo.
I need an update on the video, darling.
I mean, I'm still doing it right now.
Well, here's the thing. That first spot was only 4 seconds.
Are you sure?
Yes, we're going to need the full 6 seconds.
Wasn't that like a little sketchy? Like, I don't know if I can do 6 full seconds. I feel like I'll get hit with a copyright deal.
Don't you worry. Do you think I would get you in trouble like this. Have some faith in Melanac.
All right. Number 17 on my favorite games of all time list is Mass Effect 2. Thane Krios is still the best. Jack and Miranda are still... Are you out of your mind? My Commander Shepard is very special to me, always will be. Never played Mass Effect 1, didn't get through Mass Effect 3, but Mass Effect 2! Number 17, all time, without a doubt. Number 16 is Elden Ring. Now, this game is very recent. It came out less than a year ago at the time that I'm recording this video, but it's just that fucking good. I'm a big From Software fan. I love Demon Souls. I love Dark Souls 3. I love Bloodborne. Elden Ring is the best one. Elden Ring is a fucking amazing game. Unbelievable. An achievement almost unlike any other. I cannot remember the last time that I played a game where a dozen times throughout my playthrough of Elden Ring, I was like, what? What? Are you kidding? Like, shit, it just kept expanding. Things kept getting bigger. New enemies kept showing up. There was always another boss that showed up that was more unbelievable than the next. I put 91 hours into Elden Ring, and I'm gonna do it again. Number 15, much like the wrestling game that was on this list, you guys have been wondering where one of these will fall in. Number 15 is Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. I adore this game. Playing through single player, playing through multiplayer, finishing the game with, thanks Patch, exploring the pit and the living forest and all of these places, Shao Kahn's arena. You got little hidden Easter eggs and secrets the same way you would in a Mortal Kombat fighting game. This was just everything that I did not know that I wanted wrapped up into one package, and it's just an incredible game. It's my favorite Mortal Kombat game ever made, and I do not bat an eyelash saying that.
That's not even a Mortal Kombat game.
Go fuck yourself. If you don't think it's a Mortal Kombat game, it is. And goddamn, it's just so good. I love Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks to death. Number 15, top 15. Number 14, we're getting into some heavy hitters here. Hello?
We're going to need to make a slight adjustment.
I don't feel like we should be doing this in the middle of a video. I feel like this should have been figured out.
Mistakes happen, darling, and this is the perfect spot.
You're sure about this one?
It's an immortal kick, you won't forget it.
All right. Number 14, this is a series, a franchise, an IP that you guys don't hear me talk about very often, but number 14 is Pokemon Red. I just spit so much when I said that, but that's okay, you know, it's my house. I will never forget Christmas 1999, probably 99? I think so. I guess I forgot. That indiscriminate year, I got a Game Boy Pocket, a red Game Boy Pocket, with a copy of Pokemon Red. My brother got a yellow Game Boy Pocket with a copy of Pokemon Yellow. And this is just another game that has stuck with me for almost 20 years, and I've never looked back. Are there Pokemon games that are arguably better? Sure. Has the franchise evolved? Hey, play on words. Over the years, yes, of course, but this original will always stick with me. Number 13 on my favorite games of all time list is The Last of Us Part 2. There's a lot of hubbub around this game. There's a lot of people who are like,
Ugh, game sucks.
Fuck you. This game is a 10. The Last of Us was a 10. The Last of Us Part 2 is a 10. I remember playing through this game and telling my brother, we were on the phone, and I was like, you need to play through The Last of Us Part 2. I know you got a wife and kids these days. I know we're in our 30s now. You don't have time for video games the way that you used to. Make time for The Last of Us Part 2. And he said the worst thing anyone can say to me is, I'm not going to play it, just tell me about it, spoil it. Ooh, I hate that, but I did. But when I started, I was like, I don't know if I can get through this without getting choked up, and I'm being serious. And he was like, just try. And I'm not going to spoil anything, don't worry. And I'm not talking about that thing that happens early. I'm talking about like the final scene of the game. No details. So I'm telling the story and I'm hitting all the beats, and at the end I'm like, this person wants to do this and they can't. And I got choked up as I was describing it, because this game is so fucking powerful and these characters are so... Oh, I love these characters to death, man. And The Last of Us is just special. The Last of Us Part 2 is special. And add it to the list. Game that needs to be replayed. Because The Last of Us Part 2, I played through it once, and it was so impactful, and it meant so much to me that I was not like, oh, I need to do this again, you know? I remember my girlfriend, the beautiful Tara Darcy, was watching me play, and she was like, why do you enjoy this? This is miserable. Like, this is just horrible things happening over and over. And it's kind of tough to get through. But I gotta do it again, man. It's a fucking 10. It's in top 13 all time. Ooh, The Last of Us Part 2 is so good. Number 12, and I'm realizing that we've had some pretty modern games here, but they're not all going to be modern. You know, we've hit Pokemon Red. We've hit some other ones. Number 12 is Red Dead Redemption 2, and this just came out at the time I'm recording this video about 4 years ago, and Red Dead Redemption 2 is one of the best video games ever made, bar none. Arthur Morgan, are you out of your ass? Dude, John Marston, Dutch, Micah, Sadie, go fuck yourself. This is the only game that I will sit down around the campfire and listen to everybody tell their stories. You know, a game like The Last of Us Part 2, you have these powerful moments, but they're not optional. They're part of the story. But if I come back to camp and I see Lenny and the boys sitting around the fire and they are telling stories, I am sitting down, I am listening to these stories, and only when they are finished will I get up and go back about my game. This is pretty much the only game where, you know, I got a really important bank robbery to go do, but it's going to have to wait. I have to go fishing. That looks like a great spot to fish. I bet there are some fucking lunkers in there, and I'm bringing back food to the camp. There's a legendary fish in this river. I'm going to catch it. When I play Red Dead Redemption 2, I am Arthur Morgan. I do not make decisions based on what I would do. What would Arthur Morgan do? I get lost in Red Dead Redemption 2. One of the best games of all time. I've said that already today, and I might just say it again. Number 11 is the only PC game on this list. It's World of Mixed Martial Arts 3. It's a text-based MMA owner simulator. You own your own mixed martial arts company. You are the Dana White, or if you're a wrestling fan, you are the Vince McMahon of this company. Sign new fighters to populate your roster. Take your existing fighters and sign them to deeper deals so they do not run away and join another company. If you really want to grow, sign a deal with a TV or a pay-per-view provider. You need to get sponsorships in order. This is the only game on the list that is text-based. It's the only game like this, and this is in a very select few games that I have probably spent 1,000 hours with in my life. I never get tired of World of Mixed Martial Arts 3. Before we break into the top 10, I want to say thank you to Melon Magnet for hooking me up with this pen. You know, they reached out and they were like, we can help you land some sponsorships for this video. We got a beautiful future ahead of us, and they sent me this wonderful gift, and I just want to say thank you to Melon Magnet for that. Now that we are in the top 10, these are the big boys, these are the big behemoths, these are the heavy hitters. Number 10 is Fight Night Round 4. Now at the top, when I had a UFC game, you guys are probably like, sports games? Really? I'm a big boxing fan as well. Fight Night Round 4, for my money, is the best boxing game ever made, with the best career mode in any combat sports game ever made, bar none. Do you want to fight a guy who's low in the ranks and pad your record? Go ahead. It's not going to do much for you, but it'll get a win. You can train more and get better. Or do you want to jump way up in the ranks and fight a guy way better than you? He might knock you the fuck out, but if you win, ooh, you're on the fast track to a title shot, okay? Fight Night Round 4 is a top 10. That might be strange to have a boxing game in your top 10 video games of all time, but maybe it's not on your list, but it's certainly on my list. Number 9, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I'm a really big Castlevania fan. I love the original. I love Castlevania Bloodlines on the Genesis, but Castlevania Symphony of the Night, soundtrack, 10. Gameplay, 10. Pixel art, 10. Get out of your ass. This is another game I would love to stream over on twitch.tv/616entertainment. Click that follow button. You'll know when I go live. Castlevania Symphony of the Night is just a must play for anybody. Anybody. Oh, goddamn. I feel like we're making good time, but maybe we're not. Number 8 is Resident Evil 4. Now, I knew how much I loved this game the past 3 times I played through it. But it wasn't until 2020 when I did, I think it was 2020, when I did the history of Resident Evil and I played through the entire franchise again, and I played through Resident Evil 4 again, and that's when it really hit me. It's like, dude, people ask you about your favorite games, why don't you ever say Resident Evil 4? And I think I might know why that is, and I'll tell you about that later, but I needed to pull my head out of my ass and realize this game, I consider it legendary for a reason, because it fucking is. Resident Evil 4's aesthetic is unmatched. If we're just talking legacy, Resident Evil 4 changed video games forever. It really did. It deserves a spot on anybody's list. I'm not going to tell you what to put on your list, but I'm telling you what I put on mine, and Resident Evil 4 is certainly there. Add it to the list. Games I need to replay once again. Number 7! Lucky number 7 is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Have I ever played The Witcher? No. Have I ever played Witcher 2? No. But The Witcher 3 came out and I was like, this looks pretty cool. And it is. You play as Geralt of Rivia, who is a witcher. He's like a hitman for monsters and shit. He's a mercenary for hire. And he's got some superpowers and cool-ass swords. And he fucks. If there's a hot woman in the game and you're like, man, I'd like to hang out with her, you can. And fucking dragons and ghosts and spirits and politicians, you can kill them all. The Witcher 3 is one of those games that I spent like 200 hours with, and when it was over, I still wanted more. Last time I hooked up with Yennefer, she was my soulmate, but maybe Triss is calling out to me this time. I'll tell this story and I'll try to make it quick. I knew The Witcher 3 was so special to me when there was a quest. I was hooking up with Yennefer. I loved Yennefer. And you find out that Yennefer and Geralt have a history together. And Yennefer's like, I need you to do something for me. And you find out that you and Yennefer have this link because a long time ago you made a fucking wish that Yennefer would always love you. What she needs help with is she needs you to undo that wish. She doesn't want to have this I will always love you thing hanging over her head. So, you go out and you undo the wish. I'll leave the details up to you to play through and experience the story for yourself. But I am going to spoil the ending though. You undo the wish. And after this colossal thing has happened, you and Yennefer are sitting at the edge of a fucking pirate ship in the sky. Yeah, it's unbelievable. And she's like, do you feel any different? And you're like, no. Do you? And she says, no. So you have undone this magical binding that keeps the two of you together. You've broken it. And she still loves you. And in that moment, I was like, this is the fucking best. This is so good. Witcher 3, man. Number 7, easy. Number 6 is... Hello?
Okay, so we've got a little bit of a problem with Decay.
I cannot keep getting interrupted while I'm doing this.
Well, can you just give me another chance?
No. You're upsetting my dog.
I can reach back out to Carlos Santana.
No, alright, no. Fuck you guys. Thank you anyway. I didn't mean to be rude. But fuck you guys and your...
Well, can you show off the pen?
No, I threw the pen away.
Well, can you pick it up?
I mean, I could pick it up, but I'm not going to. Number 6 is Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. I love fantasy action open world RPGs, and I did not know that I did for the longest time. Skyrim was the game that told me, hey, you like dragons and magic. Before that, I never knew I did. And then I learned about Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, and as somebody who loved and adored Skyrim, I have that platinum trophy as well, very proud of it. I tried Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, and I was like, holy fuck. This is better in every regard, especially the moment-to-moment gameplay. Amalur, Patch, do you want to be in this video? You want to be a part of this? Come here, brother. Oh, God. They're probably going to see through your bandana, you know? But do you see now? Do you see that I'm not eating anything? I'm talking about Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. It's one of those games that will never work its way out of my system. There are too many combat styles. There are too many armor sets. There are too many storylines. Kingdoms of Amalur. Patch, I'm really trying to do something here. First I gotta fucking deal with Melon Magnet, and now you're worked up?
It's because I'm mad at Melon Magnet.
Oh, you're worked up at Melon Magnet. Well, I am too. We have officially broken into the top 5. Number 5, favorite game of all time, is Diablo 3. When I look at my PlayStation account, I can see the amount of time I've spent with every game. This is number 1. Something like 573 hours I've spent with Diablo 3. I'll tell you a quick story. I had a bet with my podcast co-host, the artist formerly known as Mike Charles. He bet me that I would not be able to get the Platinum Trophy in Diablo 3 in a certain amount of time. It was a $50 bet, and I put a lot of work in, and he thought I was going to procrastinate, and I did. So I had to crunch at the end to fit it in, but I did, and I Platinum Diablo 3, and he paid up the very day that I told him, hey, I got it, because he pays off his debts, and he's an honorable man. I can get lost in Diablo 3 any day of the week, and this is another one I will be playing for the rest of my life. Number 4, BioShock. I played all the way through BioShock on this channel, really because it's one of my favorite games of all time, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. BioShock is a very special game that is nearly unmatched. I am not a first-person shooter guy. I don't really like first-person shooters. You can keep your Doom, you can keep your Call of Duty, you can keep your Wolfenstein. I don't dislike them, I'm just not interested. It's not my thing. BioShock's story is so incredible that I am fucking there. I am in rapture. I am doing the bidding of Sander Cohen. There are few games that I can recommend as strongly as I recommend BioShock, and I really think if you have not played it, you really should. And if you have played it, go back and do it again. Would you kindly? Holy fuck, man. Number 3! BioShock Infinite. Look, I said with Resident Evil 4, like, why has this never been on my list before? It's because I usually try to only do one entry per franchise, per IP, per series, you know? So with BioShock and BioShock Infinite, it would not truly be a list of my favorite games of all time if they weren't both here, and if they weren't both in the top 5. BioShock Infinite is just an extremely special game in every regard. Fucking shooting crows, a murder of crows, and having them fucking circle my enemies, and I blast away while they're distracted with the crows. The story between Booker and Elizabeth Comstock, dude. Daisy Fitzroy. An unbelievable, unparalleled story, almost, in the video game realm. BioShock Infinite is a 10. It's everything I'm looking for and more, and few games have ever put my jaw on the floor the way BioShock Infinite did, more than once. You know, there are games that I play, there are movies where I watch where I'm like, oh, this is gonna happen. Well, because he did this, that's gonna happen. BioShock Infinite, I didn't know shit! And I would not dare spoil anything for you. BioShock Infinite is an experience that I don't know if it will ever be topped for me. That first time playthrough, I don't know if very few things have ever made me feel that, and if anything can ever make me feel that again, I will be extremely happy about it, and I will. Number 2 is Uncharted Drake's Fortune. I love this game to death. I love this series to death. This is one of my favorite video game franchises of all time. Nathan Drake, Elena Fisher, dude, Victor Sullivan. Uncharted Drake's Fortune changed not only how I play video games, but how I interact with the video games industry. Something clicked in my brain at that moment where I was like, I'm not just going to keep up with, well, what does IGN say about the new SmackDown game, you know? Uncharted Drake's Fortune is not the best Uncharted game, but like I said at the top, I'm a guy who's always very partial to originals. And Uncharted Drake's Fortune means so much to me, and I would love to tell you guys more about it in depth someday, and maybe I will. And number 1, my favorite video game of all time, Resident Evil. Specifically Resident Evil Director's Cut from 1996 on the PlayStation. Listen, in the history of Resident Evil, I went as in-depth with this as possible, but there are just certain things that make indelible marks on you as a human. And when I was a kid, and I was hanging out with my buddy Bathroom Money Tim Ewers and my brother, we were, like I said, we were kids. It was the 90s, it was the late 90s. In our backyards, we would reenact scenes from this video game. I would be Wesker, Tim would be Chris, my brother would be Barry, and we would take turns all being the tyrant. And it's like, well, what the fuck does that mean? Again, we were kids, so use your imagination. Whoever was the tyrant would stand on the slide in Tim's backyard, and we would reenact how the tyrant would break out of the fucking glass tube, and then you pretended that you had claws on your hand, and the other two would run around with our fucking toy guns, and we just used our imagination, and we would get lost in time. You know, everybody else is looking at our backyards and the park that's down the street, but for us, it was the Umbrella Laboratory, it was the Spencer Mansion, and then I remember my cousin one day, rest in peace. He had the wherewithal in his mind to jump in the pool that was in the backyard. He was like, "What if this was the sewer?" So now all of a sudden we are trudging through the sewer with our guns, blasting away imaginary zombies. Resident Evil, for me, changed my life as a kid. It like I said about Uncharted, unlocked interest in the games industry for me. Resident Evil unlocked my imagination to things that I would not have discovered otherwise. Listen, I fucking grew up with Jill Valentine, who is, in my book, one of the best main character action stars ever. I don't give a fuck who you compare her to. Arnold Schwarzenegger in Terminator, Sylvester Stallone in Rambo, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall, Sylvester Stallone in Cobra, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, Sylvester Stallone. Jill Valentine's the best. Wesker is the best. We didn't see a lot of Barry Burton, but dude, just him fucking being there with his fucking Colt Python Magnum, whatever you want to call it, blowing zombies' heads off. The horrible voice acting is a 10 out of 10. Not for the reason you want to be a 10 out of 10, but just for what it is. Resident Evil changed my life, man. The history of Resident Evil, in my book, I think it's one of the best things I've ever done. I'm extremely proud of it, and I wanted to put that series together just to share the love that I have for this game and for the series at large. But yeah, man, Resident Evil Director's Cut. It's my favorite video game of all time, and I don't know if anything will ever top it. I don't know if anything will ever match it. The Last of Us Part 2, BioShock Infinite, they're definitely better games. But as far as just being important to me and who I am and who I became as I was fucking 7 years old to 12, 13, 14, now, I'll be 32 at the time that you're watching this. It's just fucking Resident Evil, man. Resident Evil changed things for me, and that's powerful for me. And these are my top 25 favorite video games of all time. And I brought this to you solo. I was not working in conjunction with Melon Magnet. This is the stupidest bit, dude. I came up with this bit as I was making this video. What the fuck was I thinking? Guys, thanks for voting for this topic in the 95,000 subscriber milestone poll video. If you didn't like the Melon Magnet bit, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just trying to have some fun. And hopefully we will be doing a 100,000 subscriber milestone video soon. That'd be fucking sick, wouldn't it? I love you guys very much. 2023 is going to be big for this channel. There's some really big shit. Sneak peek. I shouldn't have shown you that yet. It's going to be a little while before it's ready, but how about it? I love you very much. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.